And here with me now, we're not going to forget what happened. We have two GOP congressmen, Michael Waltz of Florida and a former Green Beret who served in Afghanistan, and Ronnie Jackson of Texas, a retired Navy Rear Admiral. Congressman Waltz, this is where we are. Your thoughts on the progress tonight?
Well, I think Biden's White House communications office knew that as soon as they got the soldiers out, it would kind of be like the car wreck that everybody was staring at, day after day, and that this disaster would get off the screens and they could move on with their socialist agenda. But here's the reality. We were just on the phone this morning, my office, with these veterans groups that have hundreds of Americans, SIV, even British citizens, trapped at borders and trapped at airports around Afghanistan. They have charter flights paid for and ready to go to get them out, but the State Department will not engage the countries where they're going to land to get them the landing rights and to get those planes out. We're fighting through our own government to still get these people out. So, it's on us now, Katie. It's on us, and it's on these grassroots veterans groups who have stood up to leave no one behind, because this administration has left them behind, and their pals in the mainstream media are perfectly fine to turn the page.
Congressman Waltz, I want to follow up with you real quickly on that, because that used to be the American principle and the value that we leave no man behind. You were tasked with going out to find deserter Bowe Berghdal when you were serving in Afghanistan. So How are you feeling now that you're watching people who worked with you in Afghanistan, our interpreters, our SIVs, who have been left behind, in addition to, of course, hundreds of Americans, when you risked your life and the men that you led in combat to get Bowe Berghdal back?
And we knew he had deserted at the time, left his gear behind, left his weapon behind, emailed his father denouncing America, and deserted. Yet we still risked everything to go get him, because we do not leave Americans behind, and we do not let terrorists dictate the term. But imagine on top of that how it feels to see 2 of the 5 Guantanamo Bay prisoners that Obama and Biden traded for that traitor Berghdal are now in charge of the Taliban, hunting down our allies and American citizens with our own weapons. Mm-hmm. It's outrageous. It's just beyond the pale. And now they've left these folks. They're moved on. He didn't even mention them today. And it is on us to still get them out. But we will not leave them behind. We will complete this mission.
Well, you mentioned the State Department, and today's Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, continued the Biden administration's trend of contradicting basically every stated goal of this evacuation. Take a listen.
The airport in Kabul, where a tremendous amount of work was done in the last days of the military evacuation operation to make sure that we got and then shared with other countries the very detailed information necessary for how to get the civilian airport up and running once we left, including even bringing the American contractors back who've been running the airport for 20 years.
So, Congressman Jackson, it sounds a lot like their plan now is for us to go back after they failed to evacuate everybody before leaving.
Yeah, Katie, I don't know exactly what their plan is. I don't think they have a plan. I don't think they had a plan from the beginning. I will tell you, I'll add one thing to what Congressman Waltz said there. I, too, have people that are at airports right now, constituents, United States citizens with passports that are at airports. They've been at the airports for several days now. There are planes on the ground that are contracted planes that are documented and categorized as humanitarian flights ready to go, and they're manifested on these flights, and the flights will not leave. My staff had a conversation with the State Department today, and the State Department told my staff that the Taliban will not let these flights take off because they are waiting until their legitimate government is set up and fully in place. And I promise you, one of the conditions of those planes taking off will be that they're going to force the Biden administration to acknowledge that the Taliban is the legitimate government of Afghanistan. You mark my words, that's coming down the path. They actually are holding these people hostage right now to get what they want out of the United States. It's shameful, and the mainstream media is covering it up like nobody's business right now. They covered it for a few days, but these polls have come out now. It's the alarm bells for the press to say they've got to get back on board. They've got to start covering up for the Biden administration. They got to help him get his polls back up. They are the communications branch for the White House. They might as well move their headquarters into the ground floor of the White House, as far as I'm concerned right now.
Well, Americans who still don't believe in leaving Americans.
Katie,
go ahead. Congressman, go ahead.
No, and on top of that, they're going to demand recognition. They're going to demand access to billions in foreign currency reserves. And right now, the Biden administration, Blinken's already talking about sending humanitarian aid. That's called a ransom. And by the way, the Taliban have been holding a U.S. Navy veteran, Mark Frericks, hostage for the last year, and we couldn't even get him out. So that we have handed them leverage on a platter, on a silver platter, in the form of hundreds of Americans. This is going to be the biggest hostage crisis since 1979, and it's on us now to keep getting them out.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of Americans who are grateful to the work that you're both doing. They're disappointed in the State Department and the Biden administration, and I'm sure those Americans who are trapped there and constituents are very happy that someone is still representing them and working to get them home. Gentlemen, thank you very much.